Hey everyone, welcome to our very last art exploration color challenge for the month of December. The color is going to be turquoise. So Jessica and Lisa have their videos up, so make sure you head over there to their channel and check it out. And I wanted to share with you guys, I have a brand new monthly membership that I just launched. Perfect for the holiday season, y'all. It's like 44 of my classes. You can offer one low monthly price, plus you get all 12 of my classes coming up for next year. So make sure you head over to my website at www.kelliechasseffineart.com and learn more. And for those of you that were looking for my Etsy shop, there now is a link on my website, so you can do my Etsy shop now, view my items, and view my masks and prints there as well. I have to say, I'm figuring out this website stuff slowly but surely. If there's anything else you want to see in there, let me know. Hey everyone, Kelly here. So this month of December, the color is turquoise. I'm running late, as you can see, because we've lost power almost all weekend. It's off and on. It's crazy. I should actually, I'm going to take you down and show you, hold on here, what's going on out here. I don't know if you guys can see the ice. Look at that. But it's calmed down a little bit. We didn't get much snow. We were supposed to get a ton of snow, but that didn't happen, which is a good thing. So yeah, that's what it looks like out there. It's cold, and I'm sitting in front of my window, and it's actually pretty chilly where I'm at. I'm still in my PJs. I am gonna show you really quickly how to do a tree. And I've decided to do this with these beautiful shades of teal, or turquoise, I should say. And I have a lot of greens already in here. And I'm mixing up the colors using my little Cotman kit. I love this little kit. It works out just perfect, especially for beginners when you're just starting, because there are so many colors, of course, for us to choose from. And this one just keeps it really basic. There's only 12 colors. Yeah, 12 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 12. And it just makes it so much easier when you're first starting out color mixing. So you can see I have a little puddle. Now what I like to do is I spritz my watercolors. If I'm going to use, a lot of different colors, I'll usually just give them a little spritz. Get them nice and juicy, and that way when I'm ready to use some colors, this has already started to mix up. Whereas if you're trying to do it with a dry pigment, you're going to take up all of your paints a lot of times. It's going to take a lot of water, and you're going to have to mix and move, and just quicker and easier that way. And I can also reactivate if you'll see my paint palettes are always dirty, because you know what? I can use that. Just adding water to it, and then just reactivating the colors that are in there. Look at that. I almost had the same exact color. Ha! I love this color, that's why. This one has a little bit of the yellow ochre in there, and I think some green and some blue. Let's see what we get for this one. A little black maybe in there. That's pretty too. It's a nice little smoky gray look. So yeah, I never clean those out unless I need a certain color. Then I'll go ahead and take a tissue and wipe those out. But most of the time I'll just reactivate them and see if I can use them in my next painting. So for colors for this one, I used a little bit of the Viridian green and the cobalt blue. And you can see you got to be really careful with that cobalt blue, because it's a very dark pigment, and you can change your color up quite a bit with that. So that's a pretty kind of a tealish color. So I am using Winsor Newton 140-pound cold press 100% cotton watercolor paper. And I just had a student, as a matter of fact, mention to me that they just took the class and they were trying to get the blooming effect with my paints, and it wasn't moving for them. And I told them that more than likely, in order to get that bloom, it's not your paints, because paints, really any kind of paint will work. It's usually with the watercolor paper that's the culprit, because the 100% cotton paper really absorbs the watercolors really well. The other thing that they could have been doing is not using enough water. So very important to when you're mixing your paints up, if you're using like the pan paints, things like that, make sure you've got enough water in there. Make sure you're using enough water so that it moves on your paper. Otherwise, watercolors are watercolors. I mean, there's different grades. There's, student grade, there's artist grade, and you will get some color variations in those. But for the most part, watercolor paints are very similar. You do have some that are a little bit more chalky consistency, but usually it's the paper. So if you can afford a good paper, good 100% cotton paper, that is always the best. So I'm using my squirrel brush for this one, and I love these. These aren't very expensive either. They come in a set of 3 and they hold a lot of water, and they'll also give you a really nice tip on your brush. So as you can see, I'm painting my little tree, and I'm not really painting, stroke by stroke. It's more or less just letting that brush touch the paper, and it creates its own little abstract type shape. So we'll start with a little stick, and then it's always going to be a little bit smaller at the top. So I'm just touching the tip of that brush to my paper, and I'm going on each side of this. So I'm not drawing in that stroke, as you can see. I'm just using the tip and touching my brush to my paper, and as I'm going down, I'm getting a little bit more fuller. Add a little bit more to the top of this one, and then we'll just kind of spread this out and join these two together as it gets a little bit wider here at the bottom. And this is how I love to do my trees. Let's go ahead and put another little small one over here, maybe. Just filling in it across the bottom. Isn't that color pretty? I don't know if it's officially turquoise, but it's a really pretty color, and I love it. So now I'm just going to take some water, and we're going to let this move down on the bottom. So I have a clean, well, not necessarily clean, it's all the same color, so it doesn't matter, but just a little bit of fresh water, and I'm doing this a little bit of a scrubbing motion across the bottom, and it gives it that beautiful misty look. And you can see that paint runs, it moves right down, and it's because everything is still wet. If you guys like this so far, give me a like and a thumbs up, or leave me a comment down below. So this would be really pretty, just as a little Christmas tree you could cut, or Christmas card, you could cut that out, maybe in an oval shape, write some words across the bottom. How simple and pretty is that? Let me add a little bit more. I'll add a little bit more blue, even though it's not officially turquoise, but it just gives you some really nice little dark areas in here. That way it's not all the same color. Maybe put a little bit down here in the bottom as well. We'll watch that blend and move, and again, because it's all wet, it's just going to beautifully drip down near the bottom. Get that beautiful flow. So let's add maybe just a little bit more water. I have to tell you a little secret. I filmed this whole thing, right? And I had my little lapel microphone on because I had it hooked to my camera on my phone. And then I went to go back to look at how it went because I was just going to put it up here for you. Well, the whole thing, I must have either my hair was hitting it or my puffy jacket was hitting it. So it was all scratched. You couldn't hear me at all. So now I'm trying to do my voiceover over it. So my hands are not going with my mouth anymore. All right, so I'm adding some water to this, and I just want to show you how you can create some really pretty misty look. And you have to be careful because depending on how much water you have down, it's not going to bloom quite as much, or it's going to move and kind of fill back in. So you have to really get used to, first of all, how much water you're using and when is the right time. And the only way you can get that is by practice. See, that's going to fill back in. Let's sit here and wait it out here a second. But you can see those little dots are all filling back in. So it's not quite dry enough. So I'm going to wait just a little bit longer here. And meanwhile, I'm going to just blend some of that on the bottom. Just taking my brush and doing like this little scrubbing motion, and you can clean up some of the color. I can soften that so it just seamlessly blends right down into all of that paper. So it's got a little cast of blue maybe on there. We'll see when it dries. It should be quite light down there. Isn't that pretty? But it's still moving. You can see where I ended. So if we take the brush and wipe it off on my paper towel, I can lift some of that right off. Again, we'll wipe it off on my paper towel and lift. So now I have more of a dry brush. See how that ran? It kind of ran to the side now because I had it tilted a little bit. It's still pretty. So these are a beautiful way to do reflections if you want to, make it more of a watery look. Let's go back in with that wet brush again. There we go. That's more what we're looking for, more of those little blooms. Almost looks like snow. And it's a very easy, natural way to do it. Again, you have to have your timing down. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you give it a try, feel free to share it and tag me on social media. Make sure to check out Jessica and Lisa's video for the month, and it has been so fun this year for all of 2020 to share these projects with you guys. And we have some ideas, things we're thinking of for next year, so stay tuned for that. Some really exciting stuff coming up, and we hope you'll join us again in 2021 for another year of fun. And feel free to invite your friends. If you have some crafty friends that you know that enjoy art, bring them aboard. They're welcome to join, and we'll have a really great year coming up, I think. Much better than 2020, right? That was a tough year. So happy holidays, everyone.